welcome to an episode of Jacob's House of Rock. My name's Jacob, and today we are doing another song reaction video. It's been a while since I've done one of these actually, so I'm really excited to get back into it. In fact, the last one I ended up doing was by a band called IQ, a song called Missile, and that was a really fun reaction to do. And you know what was really cool? The keyboardist from the band actually ended up seeing that video, so that was such an honor. I wasn't expecting that at all, and it would be totally awesome if one of today's band members saw this video. That would just make my day. It's not gonna happen, but still, a guy can dream. So today, the song we are looking at is called Different by a band called Band-Maid. You may or may not have heard of them. They are actually quite popular with these sort of online video reaction videos to various songs, because they do have a special gimmick that makes them extra cool for these reaction videos. So to elaborate, they are an all-girl pop rock metal band, J-rock band, whatever you want to call them, from Japan. And the gimmick is that they look really cutesy and they wear these French maid outfits, which the kind of context for that is there are these cafes in Japan where the waitresses wear like these French maid outfits, and it's this whole thing in Japan, so hence the name Band-Maid. They have that gimmick, but the real gimmick is, aside from looking all cutesy and wearing these weird outfits, they can seriously freaking rock. Like, they can play their instruments like nobody's business. And that's the coolest thing about them. In particular, I'm a huge fan of Misa. She's the bass player. However, their guitarist and their drummer and just pretty much everyone in the band are super, super good at their stuff. But in particular, those three, the bass, lead guitar, and the drums, they're just out of this world. I'm not, like, completely in love with everything they do. Overall, I really love their verses and their solos, for the most part, and they're incredible, and just the riffs they come up with, really freaking good, and their musicianship is always top-notch. But I find some of their stuff tends to be a little too poppy for me. A lot of their songs tend to have really sort of J-rock, kind of J-pop kind of choruses, and I'm not always a big fan of those. They feel a little bit bog standard, but when they really let loose and show off their chops in the solos and verses, like I keep saying, that's when they really shine. Another thing is, unlike a lot of people doing reactions to their stuff, I'm clearly familiar with their stuff, so I'm not like one of these reactions where somebody's never heard of this band or like briefly heard of them. I'm just doing a reaction to this song because it's from their newest album. The song was released like 2 or 3 days ago, or at least the music video for it. So I've not heard it, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to be putting out on this album. The song is called Different, so we'll see whether it's to show that they're playing in a different style, or whether it's just the song title. We don't know. I'm really curious. Another thing I will add is I'm not usually as big a fan of their studio versions of their songs. I really, really love their live recordings, though. For some reason, this band has exceptionally well-produced live recordings. Like, there's a whole concert from, I think it's Shinjuku in Tokyo, Japan, where there's clips of it on YouTube, and it's like, you know, from a DVD. Like, it's produced like it was, you know, a live show produced professionally for a DVD. But the sound on those live recordings is so much better than any studio recording I've heard. Like, I actually own one of their albums, that being World Domination, this one here with their the logo on the front there. This album, fantastic songs, really bad production. It suffers from the same over-compression, overly loud production that you had earlier in the 2000s from the whole loudness wars era of music production. So I find their stuff still suffers from that, where they lose all the dynamics and they just put everything up to 10, and then you really can't distinguish the sounds from everything. There's a bit of digital clipping in there. It's not very nice, but the songs are really good nonetheless. Warning, I will actually be pausing the video and the song throughout it just to add my comments. One, because that's how these reactions tend to work, because it's more about the comments. You can always listen to the song on your own if you don't want it to be paused. And two, it helps these videos not get taken down or blocked by YouTube if you pause them every couple of seconds. So yeah, we'll see how it pans out, but I will be pausing it here and there. Anyway, I've been rambling on for ages. Let's dive into this song and check out the music video as well. This is Different by Band-Maid, the official music video.
Let's go, it's showtime.
Okay. They always play very fast. That's another thing I should add about this band. And you can see they got that really pop rock sort of sensibility with their vocal styles here. But it could go anywhere at this point. Like, it's going into this like really sort of frantic heavy metal kind of noodly thing. I'm expecting it's gonna dive into something a little more smooth and poppy after this, but who knows? Let's keep going. They got that sort of more punk style going on with this song, that really sort of feeling the groove with that, which is really cool. And again, Misa doing a fantastic job holding down the bass line with this one. I just love her bass tone on this, and just on all their recordings actually. Ooh, I like that. This is that like more pop section that I keep talking about. Their songs always kind of, they have that like, that previous section that was like that really intense sort of dark energy to it, which I just love. But then this bit where the music kind of like starts rising and it just has that like pop rock feel from this point, I'm less sold on. But everything before this, I was like, yeah, I love that. And again, they are Japanese, and one thing I love is that they typically don't sing in English, which is actually something I really like. I typically am not a huge fan when international bands try to sing in English, because it's this whole thing where they do it to be more mainstreamly viable or whatever, like, you guys know what I mean, so people in the mainstream are more familiar with them. But I love it when they actually do still sing in their own native language. I think that adds a really cool characteristic to their music. But let's keep going. Again, it's a little bit dense, a little bit crazy at this point, but a bit too poppy for me in this particular section of the song, but I'm still digging it. Oh, I just love those riffs under there. Yeah, I love this bit right here. They got great guitar and bass tone in this. I love that crunch sound. Really, really good dynamic riffs when they do come in. They really have some great moments in here. And of course, through the whole thing, the drummer is called Akane and the guitarist is Kanami. So I do mix up their names here and there, but they're both fantastic musicians. Like I said, Akane, the drummer, she's just going off the whole time. So some of the drumming is a bit too sort of like punky in some sections for my liking. It's very simplistic, but she does have some really cool fills in this as well, and some really sort of dynamic playing. So it's kind of a mix of that sort of more pop punky stuff, but then this sort of more elaborate heavy metal guitar and bass and drum playing throughout here. So really digging it so far. like that.
There in the dark, don't think.
I do really like how they are playing with the dynamics in this one, because I did mention earlier that some of this stuff can be a bit dense, especially the studio recordings. But what I really love is they keep kind of switching it out between like these really, like it's all fast paced, but they kind of back off in some areas with some of the instruments, like that moment where you just heard the guitar kind of chugging along and the vocals there, which is really cool. Another thing to note, with the music video itself, for whatever reason, places like Japan and Korea, they seem to be notoriously good at just having a really good production value on their music videos. They're a little bit cut and paste in some areas where they do look a bit samey, but the production value is always pretty high, just like this recording here. So it's just basically just a live performance of them doing their thing. You can see how they're dressed again with the Band-Maid outfits, which always look pretty cool. Some good gear going on in this video as well. Of course, we got the big orange amplifier where Misa's playing her bass through, and we got this, well, looks like, is that like a Mesa Boogie or something, and the PRS guitar. All just classic cool gear that, as somebody who's a bit of a gear obsessive, is really nice to see. Let's keep going. Back to the sort of poppy chorus. Got some good sections of that bass growl under there. Like when you're listening to some Band-Maid, it's nice to just pay attention to one of the instruments at a time sometimes, like especially that bass, because you can see it's doing a lot in the mix under there, under all the mess of everything else going on at the top, and it's just got this lovely growl to it. And there we go. But yeah, Different by Band-Maid. Funny thing is, it's not too different. It's pretty much their kind of style in a nutshell as far as the other stuff that I've heard by them. But this one was a lot of fun. I don't know if it stacks up near my favorite Band-Maid stuff, but it was a pretty decent song. There's some definite really complicated stuff going on there with a lot of really fast-paced guitar work. Drums are, you know, bashing like crazy, and it's done really tightly, really well. I can attest to these ladies here that they can play this stuff just as well, if not better, live, so I don't think there's too much studio trickery going on with hiding any of their talent here with that. As far as the song itself goes, I think it leans a little more into their sort of poppy stuff. It is sort of frantic, but it's not particularly as heavy or as interesting as some of their other songs, I'd say. But I'm definitely going to listen to this one more, and I'm excited to hear what else they're going to come up with on this album. I've already got another song ready to go, which I've heard some people say is one of their better ones, which I actually haven't heard. I think it's called Rini or something like that. So that's probably going to be my next Band-Maid song reaction. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you fans of Band-Maid? Are you interested in hearing more of their stuff, or is this just not your thing? Personally, I think they're a pretty awesome band, like I said. They're probably one of the best sort of J-rock metal bands out there. That's about it for this video, guys. Hope to see you in my next one. But until then, keep on rocking. Peace out. Bye.